What's up? It's Rising Rank. Wrong channel. What's up? It's Rising. It's Rising up the ranks as always. And I'm gonna be doing part two to with Naruto was a ghoul. And before, of course, you're going to go through our usual things of like and subscribe. That I'm actually gonna be implementing like goals for part three of this. Since part one did decent. I'm gonna say 8 likes. Yeah, let's go with that. I want I want 8 likes to continue this. If not, I'll just continue another series. And other than that, though, again, check out my Discord server. I actually put the link down in the description last time, so I'm getting there. And of course, check out my Instagram, Rising Draws. And you'll actually find a lot of good stuff there. I actually do post there more often. You get to see my art and stuff like that. So yeah, other than that though, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Cause today we're gonna be talking about what if Naruto was a ghoul. So a quick recap. In the last episode, I explained that ghouls are humans, and they're just a clan that have that get stronger as they as they eat on humans. Though they do not have to, it's just they get better nutrients and become stronger from eating humans. That's something I did not explain. And secondly, how Naruto knows about the Edo Tensei. I explained that he went to the library, but how he knows about Orochimaru is there's actually like a legitimate book called Every Forbidden Jutsu and the Users of Them. It was a fairly new addition to the library, so no one really knew about it yet. So, obviously that's how it even got up in the library. But yeah, it named the Edo Tensei by name, but they called it the Impure World Reincarnation. And they said Orochimaru can use it, but the creator was actually the second Hokage. But now that we're done with that, also he went to Orochimaru's place and started talking to him. Now that we're done with that, I'll be continuing from where we left off. So we're 2 years in the future, about the time skip. I'm not gonna make this like my what if Naruto left his village, the revamp one where he drinks the Akatsuki. No, I'm not doing that. I don't like that. I like the idea, just not for every series. So I'm making him is he's actually Orochimaru's not slave or servant, but he's Orochimaru's right hand man. So he actually outclasses even the Sound 4. And at this time, Naruto is planning to just devour Orochimaru. He doesn't want to be his right hand man. He want to go back to that village that shunned him. Well, that village that didn't really shun him, but that village, because that was the wrong series, but that village that kind of like tortured him and caused his mother to die. But first, he knew what he had to do. He knew he had to bring back his mom. So after 2 years, he learned it and perfected it, even past Kabuto. The reanimations are just as strong as their lives counterparts. And since he have infinite chakra, due to infinite chakra, but it dips into Kabuto. It dipped into Kabuto's chakra pool, so it wasn't really infinite, as they say. With Naruto's, it's borderline infinite. He has a lot of chakra to use, so they just could keep dipping and dipping it into it. But he says to Orochimaru and Kabuto directly, says, "I'm leaving this place, and if you have a problem with that, you could come and fight me. I give you all the rights to, but don't be surprised when you die." And he actually gained his emotions back during this time. He knew that it would have been, at the time, it would have been a liability, but at this time, having those emotions actually empowers him even more. So, and they know they can't, even Kabuto and Orochimaru together, they know they can't take him. No matter how many people they send his way, they can't take him. And Naruto says one more thing. He says, also, I'll be taking that Uzumaki girl with me, Karen. I remember you mentioning her. And Orochimaru was surprised. So, of course, he gave it to her. He gave him her. And Karen was like, "Oh, where are you?" He says, "I'm part of the Ghoul clan, but I'm also part Namikaze and Uzumaki." And she was like, "Oh, another one of my clan's member. That's cool." And hearing that Ghoul part actually kind of set her. off a little bit. Like she became a little bit more wary of him. And the chakra that he was illuminating, sorry, was dark to say the least. It had the hint of brightness that Naruto had when she met him in the original, but it was mainly dark like Sasuke's. So, so he decides to go back to where his mother died, her burial. He gets the DNA, and he gets one. He actually preserved one of the tuning. Well, actually no, he grabbed the tuning, just a random one, and he just it's actually from Danzo's squad, just like how Obito did. He grabbed one, and then made the impure world reincarnation happen. His mother is back, and she looks normal, not like an Edo Tensei at all. This is a special one where only the power of love, with the power of love, I know, leave me alone. It's like the power of friendship bonus. It's just that I needed to do this, but the power of love actually like fueled her creation of the creation of this jutsu, that refined Edo Tensei, as you could call it. This refined Edo Tensei, depending on how much he likes the target, it depending on how much he likes the target, how much human they appear to be. That's like his mindset. If you don't like a person, they're not as human to you, and that's really a mindset as many people. But yeah, he goes back to village, mother in tow, carving with him, and says, and he goes to like the ghoul compound and says, "I'm back." The child of prophecy, or the antagonist of that prophecy, is back, and they look at him strange, and they say, "You dare consider yourself the child of prophecy still, after abandoning us?" And Naruto says, "Abandoning you? How? I brought back one of your strongest members, my mother." And because at this point he's fully adult, like he's adult Naruto. You know, he's still a teen, but he just looks more adultish. And he steps back and to reveal his mother, completely human. Like, and they say, "How? We saw her die." He says, "I have ways to bring people back to life. I won't be explaining anything more. Now I gotta go to Hokage to tell them their Jinchuriki is back as well." And they say, "Okay," and then they inform him that he may be the antagonist for real, because there has been another child over the 2 years that has been born. When the second they came out, their Kagune was already activated, and it was the same Kagune that it was slightly different, but the same Kagune that Naruto had. He had two pairs again. He had Rize's, but then he also had I can't remember his name. That dude, I can't remember his name. It was that dude that sniffed the blood towel. If y'all ain't watched that, y'all ain't watched Tokyo Ghoul, y'all know who I'm talking about. And it seems weird, but yeah, I can't remember his name, but he has his Kagune that just like wraps around the arm and forms like a little spike thing. And so they don't know really to believe who's a child prophecy, as a child prophecy says to have a kind heart, which Naruto did have the last time they saw him. But they don't know about this child yet. It's too early. But and then they said, but the antagonist also has a kind heart, just a twisted mind. So it was really about the mindset, which at this point Naruto just explained the antagonist mindset to bring back his mother from the dead. You know, it's not everyone you would consider that worthy thing. But Naruto just like, if I am the antagonist, I happily die for the compound, and he leaves. Also, for those who don't know, if you couldn't pick up on the hints already, the antagonist in Prophecy Child is the Ender and Ashura cycle, just slightly different. There's still the Ender and Ashura cycle. Naruto is, instead of being Asha or Asura, depending on the version you listen to, he's actually Indra. And Sasuke's Asura. Sasuke, the Uchiha branched out from the ghouls because they were once connected. And instead of the Uchiha becoming hateful and getting their power off of that, they actually gained the power off the power of friendship and love, instead of the hate curse that Toriyama imbued that said they had. So, but there's a different reincarnation cycle as well. The reincarnation of Kaneki and the reincarnation of Toka. They call it the Tika. Just bear with me. They call it the Tika cycle. There's always gonna be that child of prophecy. There's always gonna be that antagonist, but child of prophecy will ultimately destroy that antagonist. But the cycle keeps happening over and over until one day that it's like the same thing as the Asha and Ender cycle until they have to find like a solution where they come together permanently because it has been known for the protagonist and antagonist to work together for like a couple minutes to defeat somebody and then go right back to fighting. But it's like the Ender and Asha cycle, so they're not sure who's who. And Naruto's like, I'll happily die or make friends with him. I don't really care. Even though Naruto is at this point, I think, 15 years older than this child, he'll still make friends with it. Don't get me wrong. But he goes to Hokage's office and just like, I'm back. Your Jinchuriki is back. So, has the sand invaded yet? And at this point, what's it called? Hiruzen is still alive, but he retired as Hokage to put Tsunade in charge again. Because at this old age, he was tired of the stresses. And especially losing Jinchuriki also made him lose favor with the elders. And he says, so, who's the new lady, old man? And she says, address me with some respect. I am your senior. He's like, by how many years? What, 5? He says, how old are you? He says, 15. He says, 15 years old. She says, well, about, give or take, 40 years. And he was stunned by how old this lady is, but still looking so youthful. But he's like, well, whatever. But how you like your Jinchuriki be back? I see the sand hasn't invaded yet. He's like, no, we actually helped the sand out. We actually helped the sand out in recovering their Kazekage. And I know in the last video, I listened back to it. I referred to the every Kage as Hokage. I know. Leave me alone. It was by accident. But yeah. Now back to the story. He straight up is just like, yeah, I'm back. So, what do you need me to do? I haven't mastered the power of the tailed beast yet, but I can control it up to 7 tails, which is still considerably a lot considering at this point, Naruto is still only 15 years old. It takes Mojin Jidiki years upon years to even talk to their tailed beast, let alone to get 7 tails of control. Especially out of the 9 tails, the most, vicious of them, and the least likely to actually befriend a human. Like Shukaku still has a chance. Like going down the list, they have more and more of a chance. Though Yuki, I would say probably it has he had the second least likely, but he also had the second least likely host. But yeah, other than that, I'd be not ending it off, but continuing. Naruto is just like greeting everyone, and he has some old friends to catch up to, and he looks at Sasuke. Sasuke at this point is still here. Orochimaru didn't need Sasuke, so he didn't take him. And Sasuke's still there with those still hateful eyes looking at Naruto. Naruto's like, still can't stand that guy. And he disappears from not the Hokage's vision, they couldn't all see him, but like everyone else's vision, he disappears from. And he actually looks at Sasuke and says like, what do you want? Why are you staring at me with those hateful eyes? He says, I don't know. And Sasuke just says, I don't know. Maybe because my whole brother massacred my clan because of you. And at this point, I'm going to change the events a little bit. And Naruto's like, what do you mean? How can I have caused an extinction of your clan when I wasn't even here? And especially by your brother. And he says, he went out looking for you. And apparently he met someone unsavory, to say the least. And they convinced him to kill the clan. If it wasn't for you leaving, he wouldn't have even met them. And he is preparing for Shidori at this point. He wants to kill Naruto in one blow. But Naruto's like, don't you know about the cycle reincarnation? And he kicks Sasuke's hand, stopping Shidori from even forming. He's like, what do you mean the cycle of reincarnations? Like, oh, I see you don't know Asa. He says, why do you address me by that name? That's what Sasuke says. He's much more formal now. But Sasuke's like, why do you address me by that name? Naruto's like, you really don't know? The Uchiha and the Ghouls used to be, let's just say, comrades. We stood side by side with each other. Yeah, they said we stood side by side with each other. But unfortunately, our clan, we diverged. We, like you could say, cannibals. We started eating ninja to gain their power. And Sasuke is still disgusted by this idea of them even being related slightly. And Naruto is just like, what, you hate the idea of us being related slightly? And Sasuke's like, yeah, how did you know? It's like, most Uchiha say that when they meet a ghoul member. But we are special. You diverged. Asura was let's just say, they founded two clans. They founded the Uchiha and Senju. Ashura had innate abilities to give the Sharingan to his children, which in turn, with Indira's children also who had the Sharingan, all became one big family, which is the Uchiha clan and the Ghoul clan. The original Indira clan was, of course, the ghouls, while you were the fakers of sorts. And it was like, so when we eventually diverged again, the curse of hatred, which was implemented within all Uchiha, became split. It wasn't the curse of hatred for you guys no more. It was the curse of love. We still had the curse of hatred because of our blood and the pureness of our blood. So of course, we ended up with the bad side of everything. And Sasuke's like, so you're telling me I'm a reincarnation of the Sage of Six Paths, the god of Shinobi's son, and so are you. He says, yes. He says, if you don't believe me, look into my chakra pool with that fake Sharingan of yours. Sasuke was kind of insulted that Naruto would call his Sharingan fake to begin with. Like, even though that the ghouls dojutsu wasn't even revealed yet, it was still not, that was the pure Sharingan, as you can call it. So, but Sasuke didn't know it. So he was insulted by the fact that Naruto would call his Sharingan fake every Sharingan. And Sasuke, of course, took a peek into his little chakra pool and found Indira just standing there. And Naruto did the same with his ghoul eyes, which they call not the Sharingan, but instead of the they shortened. They didn't like the name Sharingan anymore, so they called it the Rinnegan. Yes, they wanted to have a hype name around it. It's technically not pronounced the Rinnegan. It's just about the same. It's called the Rinnegan, and they just basically stole this name. But as Wax told, the Rinnegan was kind of the same. They functioned the same way. So, and then Naruto did the same, and he did find Asura standing there, just like Orochimaru said he would. And that's why I'm be leaving it off in the next part of this what if. You'll be actually seeing the interactions between the two after they find out. And other than that, I hope you guys enjoy this video as always. And this is Logan.